So by popular demand, we're doing the center fielders today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, red subscribe button, follow me on all social medias at Blademan, exactly how it is spelled on the YouTube channel username. So let's start it off instantly and make sure you click on the channel community tab and vote on what you want to see next in terms of the live series players reactions. Let's start off with Starling Marte, the only gold out of the top 5 shown. So Starling Marte, K percentage last year was 16%. Has a vision of 74. That seems about right. Walk percentage 4.3. He has discipline of 43. That is also about right because that is horrible. Now, versus left, his 3-year average is 233. He has 55 contact versus left. I think it should be even lower than that, probably mid 40s. And then his slugging is 401. I think that 54, probably lower than that, and like high 40s. To be honest with you all. And then when we look at his versus right 3-year averages, his average is 300, so 84 contact versus right seems about right. Slugging 477, I'd probably give him like 62 to 63 power versus right. And if you balance all those numbers out, the rearrangements that I made, then he is still a gold, most likely going to be an 82 overall. Does he have the possibility of going diamond? I'm going to go ahead and tell you no. I do not believe in Starling Marte. He is a hitter that is better against his own side rather than against lefties. But if this year he goes ahead and turns it around against lefties and he's hitting home runs against them and he's hitting for average against them, then he definitely will have the room and he most likely would go diamond. But he would have to maintain the numbers that he has against righties. So he needs a power surge when it comes to facing lefties. Now the first diamond is going to be George Springer. George Springer, his K percentage last year was 20.3, below the league average. 66 vision, seems about right. And then 4.3, or excuse me, not 4.3, but 12.1 walk percentage, having a discipline of 80, seems about right as well. Versus left, his 3-year average is 286. He has 77 contact versus left. That's good with me. And then his slugging is 507. He has 76 power versus left. I would put it to maybe 78, 79. Then we look versus right-handers. His 3-year average is 277, 73 contact versus right. Makes sense. And then slugging versus right-handers is 514. He has 80 power versus right. That also makes sense. So when it comes to George Springer, it looks like they got everything pretty, I want to say correct or head on, because he deserves to be a diamond and definitely deserves to be an 85 overall. He's on the verge of dropping or he's on the verge of actually increasing his overall. But in general, they did a great job with George Springer. Next up is the man that took the league by the storm, or whatever the saying is, because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But K percentage last year was a 13.7%, which is amazing. Having 83 discipline seems about right. He walks at an 8.4%. That is 0.1 below the league average. Having 66 discipline is also correct. Now, let's look at his 3-year averages. Versus left-handers, his average is 313. Having 91 contact versus left, I'd give him that. And then slugging 570. He has 80 power versus left. That to me is no good. He deserves to have at least 88, high 80s for sure. Then versus right-handers, average is 278. He has 83 contact versus right. I would have just kept it at 80 or maybe just put him at 79, and that's where you would get the points to add to the power versus left. And then he slugs 462 and his power versus right is 65. I think that's accurate right there. If you're slugging 462, definitely deserve to get a 65. So overall, if they went ahead and added more power versus left and subtracted some of his contact versus right, it would be a little better. But as an 86 overall, I think, or not think, but they got Ketel Marte correct as well. So they're on a streak right now. 2 straight players. Let's see if they can make it all 4 left. Next up is Ronald Acuña Jr. Now, Ronald Acuña Jr., when we look at his K percentage, it's a 26.4%, well above the league average. 46 vision, seems about right. Walk percentage, 10.7, above the league average. 75 discipline, seems correct. Now, looking at his 3-year averages, versus left, he averaged 285, 77, that's good. Slugged 566, 88 power versus left makes sense. Just like Ketel Marte should have the same power versus left that Acuña should have, or Acuña has. But let's continue. Versus right, 285, 77 contact versus left, 77 contact versus right. Holy cow. It's like they actually did that correct, because he has the same average versus both sides in the previous 3 years. And now his power versus right, 79 with a slugging of 521. So 521 slugging, 79 power versus right. This also seems to be correct. So they also got Acuña correct at an 89 overall. His defense is what really propels him to being an 89 overall. And the fact that he's only getting better is also going to allow him to actually probably go up to maybe a 91, 92 this year. Last but not least, we got the best player in baseball. We got Mike Trout. His K percentage last year was 20%, below the league average. He got a 58 vision. Makes sense. Not going to complain about that. Walk percentage, 18.3%, well above the league average. He has 125 discipline. 125 discipline, I don't know. I feel like he should have like 115, but you know, discipline and vision. Discipline is just being able to check your swing, and vision is the size of your PCI. Now let's go to his 3-year averages. So his contact versus left is a 83. His average against left-handers for the previous 3 years is 278. So it being an 83 is a little too high in my opinion. It should be at least a 76, 77, to be honest with you all. And then his slugging against left-handers has been 530. Him having 88 power versus left seems like a little bit of a stretch. I would have given him an 85, maybe 84. And then versus right-handers, his 3-year average is 311. Him having 90 contact versus right, that makes sense. 90, I'll give it to him. And then 670 is his slugging against right-handers, 112 power versus right. With the amount of plate appearances, or I should say at bats, that he has had against right-handers, it should be 125 without a doubt. He's had over I know he's had over 1,000 plate appearances, but I'm not sure if he's had over 1,000 at bats as well. But I know it has to be above 800, and to be slugging 670 with over 800 at bats against right-handers, you definitely deserve to have 125 power versus right. If you deduct the attributes out of those categories that I said he should have lower, and then give it all to the power versus right, the card would make sense. He'd probably be a 94, 93, but it would make 100% sense. Now that is going to be it for today. If you did end up enjoying today's content, please make sure to hit that like button, red subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on all social medias at BladeMiz. And as always, have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out.